Hello, dear friends. Here we are. Wisdom for the Spiritist Practitioner. Day 22. Today is the day when we have a different teacher, Auta de Souza. Do you know who she is? Auta de Souza is this fantastic spirit that has been in the Spiritist movement for the longest time. You're going to get to know more about her, and it's important to know this group of several spirits who came through Chico Xavier to guide our lives, to represent this message of the promised consoler by Jesus. Auta de Souza, or Auta de Souza, she was born in Brazil in 1876, and she discarnated quite young in 1901. She was a Brazilian poet, and she wrote romantic poems, and through the medium Chico Xavier, later, she brought several poetries through Chico Xavier. So it's phenomenal because through poetry, she teaches us how to know more about the teachings of Spiritism, to know more about ourselves, to know more about life. Poetry, as we said when studying the book Drops of Light by Casimiro Cunha, Drops of Light is this book that brings poetry, and Leon Denis tells us poetry is like a form of music. It comes from higher spheres, especially the Spiritist poetry. And it comes to help us really feel, not only know, but feel. And feeling, as Emmanuel said yesterday in the message, mission of the Spiritist Temple, feeling is the number one. We study to feel first, then to understand, then to build and serve always. These are the teachings we cannot forget. And today, I have a poem here for you from the book Educandário de Luz, Educational Institute of Light. The spirit author, Auta de Souza, this Brazilian poetess who comes from the beyond and writes immortal messages to give us a new feeling. Auta de Souza. Her prayer is to Jesus, and this is a lesson for the Spiritist Practitioner. Let us hear what she has to say and move forward. Shall we? Yes? All right. I, for some reason, cannot see everybody who is here yet. I'm trying to rescue you through the page here. Let me see if I can. All right. And if I can. All right. And yes, yeah, Virginia is still better. Thank you, Cesa. But it's been a long night, long day. So thank you for the prayers. But you know how it is. Shall we? Teresa Catapano, how are you? Cacilda, how are you? And so, how are you? So I can see you guys here. My phone doesn't show it at all, but I can see you all here from the desktop. And Adilson, how are you? Raquel, how are you, Raquel? Rihanna, Silvia Otero, how are you? And Lívia Moraes, Ivana Freire, Andrea Torres. Friends, if I miss any one of you, Karina is there, Karina Alice, we're gonna make it, okay? And if you have sent messages in the last days to us at Kardec Radio or the magazine or the center or personally, we're catching up throughout the hours that are possible, okay? But don't worry, we'll address each and every question. Prayer to Jesus. We need a prayer to Jesus. Auta de Souza. Lord, bless the house that you gave us. in the field of work and longing that I bless. In this landing of peace, we have the sweet shelter that reveals the love for light of the heavenly home. Charity here is the strength that dresses us of joy when we know that we march with you. Lord, give us the gift of seeing your friendly arm, where the brightness of the good here shall be manifested. Keep the door open to those who seek comfort in solitude, help to misfortune, answer, help in faith, suffering while seeking you. May our house in you, in love that does not tire itself, be a home dedicated to kindness and hope. May your presence and your name be praised all over here. This is our prayer. Are you feeling it? Emmanuel yesterday, in his message, Mission of the Spiritist Temple, he says, let us study by feeling, understanding, building, and serving always. Auta de Souza, this noble soul that comes from the beyond through the medium Chico Xavier, in reverence for the Spiritist teachings, she comes to us to open our hearts to the connection that exists from each and every Spiritist center to the heart of the Christ. As we have mentioned once, and we cannot forget, every time we enter a Spiritist center, our reverence shall be so deep that we even ask, Jesus, may we come in? And we are teaching our children to do the same. Literally asking. We open the door and we say, Jesus, may we come in? In reverence, in respect, we cannot take it for granted. We need to feel it. Right? Hello, Alexandra. I got your message, my friend. I'm catching up, okay? Angelita, how are you? Lisa Teles, beautiful Adan, and Sylvia. Friends, I'm gonna break down these four beautiful, just keep my mind the name, parts of this poem. When Auta de Souza says, in our devotion to the Spiritist practice, we need to pray to Jesus. How do we pray? It's a prayer from the Spiritist Practitioner to Jesus through the Spiritist Center. And she says, Lord, bless this house that you gave us. Therapeutic question, how often do you ask the On High to bless your Spiritist Center? Because often people come to the Spiritist Center to demand, to demand, to demand, to demand, to demand. But how often do we have this attitude of blessing? That's the number one attitude. 2, it's a field of work, she says. A field of harmony that we long so much. So it's sacred. Sacred. But you know, we cannot make a place be sacred if we don't feel sacred ourselves. Do you want to hear a most important therapeutic question? It is certainly to ask ourselves, do you feel yourself as a sacred part of creation? And you may be thinking, uh-oh, am I? Yes, you are. But we can only make the Spiritist Center a sacred space when we feel ourselves that we are sacred. The place doesn't become sacred. It's sacred because we have that sacredness attitude within it. So first and foremost, we need to do this affirmation, telling ourselves. Put your hand on your chest and tell yourself, I am sacred. I am holy. I am a child of God. Let us repeat it, friends. I am sacred. I am holy. And I am a child of God. You're almost feeling like singing it, right? Right, Miriam Santoni, how are you? Animércia, Neucira, how are you? I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I've reincarnated to learn to do good. Reincarnation, the path of progress. Reincarnation, the way to become good. Reincarnation, the opportunity to achieve true happiness. Friends, Auta de Souza brings to us saying that the Spiritist Center is this piece of peace on earth, a sweet shelter. You know, I think sometimes we need to distribute this poem to everybody who comes to the Spiritist Center, because often people come in and out. Sometimes they take for granted, and it depends on the directors of the center to change their mindset. We need to create responsible people. And I say create in the Spiritist Center, because there's only one creator. But we're given as directors and practitioners of a center this task to encourage people to be responsible. Not to be only demanding things, requesting things, but also giving the minimum that an attendee can give when they come to a Spiritist Center is their reverence and that feeling of the sacredness of that organization. A place where the love for light of the heavenly home reveals itself, she says. Charity within the center is the strength of itself. So when you see a Spiritist Center shaken up, it's because most likely things are not permeating the waters of charity. And what is charity? What is charity? Kardec asked this question. Right, and Augusta and Angela Stewart. We have so many beautiful friends who are doing wonderful works. Ana Augusta, Luis Hu, Angela, Angie, our dear Angie. And we'll tell more about Angie soon. She's going to be with us at Kardec Radio. Jairson, how are you? Selma, Brazil. So, you know, I just feel like singing. When I saw Brazil, I was like, Brazil, meu Brasil brasileiro. It's irresistible, right? We just feel like singing. But, talking about charity. Charity, Auta de Souza says, is the strength of the Spiritist Center. So when a Spiritist Center is shaken up, it's a sign that charity is missing there. But what is charity? So when we go to the Spirit's book, third part of the Spirit's book, the Divine Moral Laws, in the last chapter, the Law of Justice, Love, and Charity, we'll find a question that asks, charity, what is it? And the Spirits say, the illuminated spirits through the mediums at Kardec's time, they said, charity is benevolence towards everyone. What does that mean? Just there, we know why a Spiritist Center may work or may not work. Charity, as benevolence for everyone, means bene means good. Volens means will. Goodwill towards everyone. No wonder Jesus said, peace on earth and goodwill amongst men and women, of course. And what does this mean to us? It means that we need to have goodwill. What is goodwill? Goodwill means that I have this inner drive to do the good towards everyone. I'm not selective. I'm going to be kind to you because I know you. I'm not going to be kind to you because I'm not sure I know you. I'm not so sure we're on the same page. That's not charity. And today in the United States, we've got all the newspapers showing a lieutenant in the Air Force in the United States. He got his 4,000 students and he gave them all a lesson exactly on this, on the power of diversity. And we as Spiritists, we have no excuse not to be kind and fraternal to everyone without distinction. Without distinction. Right, Rudy? Charity is to be present in the present. Thank you, Rudy. Thank you. So, friends, be of goodwill towards everyone. Do the good towards everyone in the center. Then number 2. Well, we all make mistakes. I make mistakes, you make mistakes. The day I wake up in the illusion that tonight or today I'm not going to make a mistake, I probably don't know myself or human nature. So what do? I sweeten, I put some sugar, which is not fattening at all in this case, okay? Sweeten our imperfections, indulgence towards people's imperfections. That's charity. Of course, in a Spiritist Center, we're going to see people like myself. I go to a center right now. If I go now, I won't go now because it's late, but if I go now, I'll be tired, of course. I've spent days taking care of our daughter. She's recovering. And maybe I go there in a rush and I won't say hi the same way that I do. I will try my best. I'll make all of my efforts. But my friends, the Spiritist practitioners and the directors are going to look at me and say, you know, let's give Vanessa a break because she may be tired, consumed, but I need to do that myself towards others. People have their shortcomings, and the closer we are to people, the more we're going to experience their shortcomings. The closer we get, the more we see. Can I give you an example? I show you this beautiful Hello Kitty pencil. From afar, like, oh, it's so cute, Hello Kitty. But then you get close, very close, and you see that right here, let me show it to you, right there, there is a dark spot, you see? And you're like, oh, this Hello Kitty pencil was not as perfect as I imagined. But remember, the last chapter of the book Missionaries of the Light by André Luiz through Chico Xavier talks about Mentor Alexander coming to his whole group of students and saying, let us not play idolatry of people. The only one we put on the pedestal is God. Love worship, only God, nobody else. So we look at people saying, they are brothers and sisters of mine. They are people just like me. They are people just like me. They are learning. They have their daily concerns. And we're coming together in this house of charity to be of joy and march with Jesus. It feels so cozy when we know we're with Him. Right? As Angie is saying, we learn with our mistakes and don't repeat them. Yes, hopefully. but we'll make other mistakes. So the learning is eternal. Yes, thank you for your beautiful words, Angie. And that's what it is. Not the same mistakes, but new ones will inevitably come. Hopefully, less and less every day. So Auta de Souza says, Lord, give us the gift of seeing your friendly arm, where the brightness of the good here is manifested. So we go to the center, we open the door, we say, God bless the center. Lord, bless. Bless this sweet shelter of love for the light of the heavenly home. May charity here dress up in strength and joy. May we feel your friendly arm. May we see the brightness of the good manifesting here. Brightness of the good. These superior spirits, they do not spare words. The combination of brightness of the good is very interesting, because the good is light. When you open the book After Death by Leon Denis, it's already published in English. You can read it by buying its copy at the United States Spiritist Federation website. After Death, Leon Denis, right, Karina, Alice? Leon Denis, fantastic author. And he says, when he talks about good and evil, he says, there is only good. Evil is simply the absence of the good. It's like light and darkness. Darkness is just the absence of light. Darkness doesn't exist. So when Auta de Souza says brightness of the good, she's just reinforcing what we already know. The good is light, and may it shine bright. The good is light, may it shine bright. Repeat these affirmations to yourself every day in your home. Yes, this little light of ours, we're gonna let it shine. This little light of ours, we're gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine in our homes, in our hearts, everywhere. But if you're asking yourself, who am I? I will repeat to you. You are a child of God. Do not undermine the light within you, because you're light. And Jesus said, you're God's. And you can do everything that I can and much more. If the Master said so, we better believe. Not a blind belief, but a belief of the reasoning. Has he said anything that does not get to be proved this far? Everything he said that it's good to be good, and we have scientists like Stephen Post and others proving to us day in, day out that physiologically we are better off when we do the good. Oh yeah, we're healthier. And of course, if we have our health impediments, we're here to recover. But we're light. Keep the door open to those who seek comfort in solitude. So the center needs to open itself to help the suffering. And this is an important insight in this prayer to Jesus by the author Auta de Souza, because many people, many people, they expect going to the Spiritist Center and finding people who are balanced, who are zen. And when they don't find it, they're like, oh, it's a madhouse, Vanessa. And I say, what do you expect? When you read the book Paul and Stephen by Emmanuel, what do we see? That the first Christians, Peter's house, yes, the mention of the way. Remember? The house of the way. Who was there? Those who were suffering. It's as if you go to Puerto Rico today and help the people who don't have medicine, don't have food, don't have water, don't have anything. And you're going to feel like, oh, it's a madhouse. No, no, this is the work that is supposed to be done. Our centers are not supposed to be a perfect harmony in the physical or the spiritual. It's a hospital. It's a school. We're learning together. This imbalance of all of us who come in is part of it. So once we know it, we will be frustrated less, especially if we are directors of a Spiritist center. I know Spiritist practitioners who give up their work because they cannot put up with people's shortcomings. They cannot put up with this hard work that needs to be done in the center, without which we don't go any far. Right, Valkyria? Valkyria, got your message. I'm going to reply to you. Tia Abby, how are you? Andrea Andres, how are you? Finally, Auta de Souza says that our housing you in love that does not tire itself up be a home dedicated to kindness and hope. May your presence and your name be praised all over here. So, be a home of kindness and hope. And the Dalai Lama said that his religion is kindness. Sincerely, I'm going to say this in a personal tone. Kindness is not a given. We're not born kind. We needed to blossom in kindness. The seed is there. But we're living in a world that is beautiful. What a wonderful world. But, kindness is an unfoldment of the soul. Kindness is a conquest. How do we conquer it? By practicing. It's a muscle of the soul. How do we practice? Remember the other day, Mentor Joseph was mentioning to us. We learn most strongly and quickly by emulating others. You want to learn kindness? Find somebody who is kind on the internet, in your life, and look at that person and observe the gestures, the movements, the tone of voice, and you see that your neurobiology is going to be bathed in this new pattern. There are scientific studies that shows to us that just by being in the presence of somebody, we create synchronicity of physiological measurements. So we have this power of being together with people. So let's be wise. You want to conquer a particular virtue, like kindness? I do too. Let us observe people who are kind and allow their natural coaching being printed in us. We have what we call neuroplasticity, no matter our age. It's an inherited function of our immortality. We have neuroplastic brains, spiritually, physically, no matter the age. And we have an inbuilt system to emulate quickly what people do. So if we watch too much of the crazy news of some crazy people who are being unkind, we may quickly turn into being unkind. So let us be careful. What do we do instead? Dig. Remember, seek the good, feel the good, visualize the good, and mold the good with all the resources we have at hand. Emmanuel said in the book Thought and Life. So here we are. And if you know more than others, one more reason for you to be more patient, kinder, more gentle. For those who are given much, Jesus says, much will be demanded. I'll read one more time this poetry because it's all about feeling. Before we wrap up, shall we, friends? Prayer to Jesus by Auta de Souza. May this be our prayer, and may the vibrations reach the farthest locations, especially those who are suffering the most on the earth, whether material pain or spiritual, emotional pain. Prayer to Jesus. Lord, bless the house that you gave us, in the field of work and longing that I bless. In this landing of peace, we have the shelter that reveals the love for light of the heavenly home. The charity here is a strength that dresses us of joy when we know that we march with you. Lord, give us the gift of seeing your friendly arm, where the brightness of the good here shall be manifested. Keep the door open to those who seek comfort in solitude. Help the misfortune, answer help in faith, suffering while seeking you. That our house in you, in love that does not tire itself up, be a home dedicated to kindness and hope. May your presence and your name be praised all over here. Did you hear it? Hope, kindness, and hope. You know why hope? Because we're going to make mistakes. People are going to make mistakes. We have old conditionings that still impact on us, but we shall renew ourselves in the waters of hope and say, I am a child of God. I'm going to let it shine, this light shine, because the world is wonderful. It's God's world. Shall we, friends? Tomorrow when we come back, Emmanuel comes back, and he has his own take on the prayer for the Spiritist temple. For now, I leave you with a big hug, lots of hope and kindness in our hearts. Let us multiply the good news, because the world needs it more than ever. Thank you, friends.